welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, I forget what we're watching. Deadly Sin.
Deadly Sin.
Holy shit. It's a shit show before we even do the catchphrase.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm your host, Chase, with my co-hosts, Blake and John.
Oh.
Shit show. Already started.
Yeah.
Holy God. Okay. Deadly Sin.
Are you even going to say it?
No, this shit show, that's what I said. Shit show's already begun.
All right.
Because I fucked it up.
Okay.
Say it if you want to say it.
Let's get this shit show on the road.
Hey! So, this movie.
Yep.
How can so much and yet so little take place in a movie that's barely an hour long?
It boggles the mind, this movie.
There's a real economy of storytelling, let's say.
There's a lot of scenes that I don't think were even necessary. Nothing was gained from them. The plot wasn't furthered by them existing.
I like how the end, like they knew they didn't have enough story. So by the end, it was just playing the same scene over and over and over. Like, not even trying to hide it. It was just, let's just show a scene 3 times in a row.
The editing throughout the whole thing is pretty crazy.
The climax of the movie hits like 20 minutes in.
Right.
Like, 20 minutes in, the movie ends. And yet, there's another whole half. Like, you have to go, what you just sat through, you have to sit through again.
Well, not again, just more.
Just more.
Just pointless more.
There was such a bouquet of emotions that I went through watching this, from oh yeah, this is fun, this is at least funny, to I'm so angry at this movie I want to punch it. So we'll get to it. Let's start. What the hell? Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Dive in.
So we open to ominous droning music, as the subtitle stated.
That's exactly what it said.
As we get a flyby shot of the Statue of Liberty that was stolen from some other movie, probably. We snap zoom into a New York City club where a couple, let's call them for now Lady Jacket and Budget McJagger.
Actually, I don't think this scene could be better described than the way John read it in coming attractions for this movie.
These 2 killers, and then these other killers. They kill the killers.
We could skip this part and take over, because I mean that was explained perfectly.
Yeah,
just cut in the audio from that coming attractions. We'll just move on.
So they slow-mo walk through the crowd
forever.
And
it takes them hours to get through this crowd of people. In fact, they keep breaking out of the crowd, and then when we cut back to them again, they're back deep in the crowd.
They're back in it again. So the music has all these weird sound clips of chattering children, and it's a little unnerving because there's no real point to that. I mean, there is later when you figure out their backstory, but at this point, it's a little weird. The VIP lounge has a bunch of VIP-looking people in it, schmoozing it up and having drinks that they've rested on 2 tables that look like cardboard boxes with pillowcases over them. Each of the sleazy-looking guys is paired up with a woman, except for this one poor lady who has 2 sleaze bags on either side of her, and they're having a conversation with her breasts. Just right there. One guy's talking to the left breast, one guy's talking to her right, and she's saying, "What do you want from me?" I'm going to make that Goodfellas joke as many times as I can this season.
There's nothing wrong with that.
So, the couple approaches, and the sitting VIPs notice them, but don't really seem to care.
No, they kind of stare at each other for 5 minutes.
Yeah, nor do they care when the couple levels a pair of handguns at them. They just kind of, okay, what are you guys going to do with those?
That's interesting dance attire.
So they open fire and blow away all of these VIP guys. We're even treated to a couple of double takes of their deaths.
Right.
Just bang, cut, bang, same exact shot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot throughout this movie. The women all run for cover after the gunfire ends. And by cover, I mean they run barely out of camera shot and stop, and you can still kind of see them hovering off on the sides of the
One of them starts
the
laughing. One of them starts laughing before she gets all the way off camera.
Professionalism.
You know, you can imagine
she runs, she thinks she's off, and she kind of slows down and she starts laughing.
So, Lady Jacket checks the pulse of one of the fallen men and rips off his medallion, and the two calmly walk away from the grisly scene. Cut to the next day, maybe. Who knows? The couple are strolling along a white picket fence suburban sidewalk, and they come to a pizzeria. And the pizzeria sign says, "Pizza we deliver." Not necessarily pizza we make, but we deliver it.
They're a weird pizza middleman.
You got a pizza? What do you know? We deliver it. We should work together.
We'll deliver your pizzas for you. So they approach the tracksuit wearing guy in front, because, you know, it's a pizzeria, Paul. There's got to be a tracksuit guy sitting out in front of it.
Yep.
And they hand him the medallion, and he's pleased by this, upset by this.
I do not know who this person is.
It's anyone's guess.
So, cut to some big-ass house. Budget Bob Hoskins thinks about his son, one of the men that was shot in the club, and he says he wants those responsible to suffer before they die. And his right-hand man informs him that the couple that killed his son want to meet, and that they have their own men on the way. Cut to the men, looking extremely inconspicuous, strolling down the street in trench coats, guns drawn, broad daylight.
Yeah, my notes say dudes just walking around with unconcealed guns.
Yeah. They enter the building, and apparently they're twins.
Yeah,
right.
To make it a little weirder. One's armed with a shotgun, while one has Lord Humongous' scoped revolver. Some guy on stage with a mic calls out to them to come to the front because they're talking about blowjobs. So come on up to the front.
Right.
The man, stand-up comedian, he's making a Bill Clinton sex joke, and which involves Chinese people thinking all numbers are associated with takeout orders. You know, usual stand-up comedy stuff.
Just classic stand-up, dude.
And then the comedian calls up the two headliners, Anthony and Lisa Scaduto. And it's the couple from earlier. So they walk on stage, draw their guns at the two hitmen, who again don't react in the slightest.
Terrible hitmen.
The worst hitmen of all time.
They just get gunned down where they stand.
So what where are they? They just go in somewhere. There's no people in there except for a comedian.
Yeah.
The
comedian playing to an empty room. It's just a
black room with smoke swirling around in it. It's like hell. It's like a floor of hell.
The hell of the upside down sinners. No, what I was gonna say about the couple though, like the way they walk together all the time, like they're always like right next to each other, walking down the street, and that just bothered me. Like you wouldn't naturally walk like that.
Like they're matching stride.
Yeah, and they're like exactly shoulder to shoulder. It was unnerving for me.
Yeah, and then hardly any scenes of them like apart. There's like maybe two, scenes where they
like they were just always right next to each other, and it was
it was very weird. It was weird.
Not the last weird thing that's going to come out of this movie.
Well, this is true.
So the Scadutos walk off the stage as we tragically zoom in on the comedian's gaping, laughing mouth.
Tragically.
Cut Cut to the Lang Tobiah De Palma funeral home.
Oh, you asshole. Thought for sure that was going to be a question.
Where the old man from earlier is surrounded by suits. He spots the Scududos across the street as Mrs. Scududo flips him off. Later, much later, Mr. Scududo joins in on the fun. And then they vanish behind a moving car like a couple of vampires.
They pulled
like
the old
Michael Myers.
I was gonna say they pulled the old Jason Bourne bird trick.
What a couple of scumbags. I mean, like, what a weird thing to do. It's like show up at some guy's son's funeral that you killed and just give him the finger.
Yeah, and the dude totally forgot why he was there in the first place, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're here to disrespect someone's family."
Yeah, he was like off getting a donut or something. He forgot what they were trying to do, and then disappear like a pair of phantoms.
Yeah.
And then like the mafia guys, who are cold-blooded murderers, just they like just give this look like, I'm gonna get those guys.
What's the dude Scududo's name? What's his name?
Anthony.
Because whenever he stuck the bird, the bus went past him. Like, of course, I was just thinking Jason Bourne or whatever. So as soon as it passed by my head, I was like, Jesus Christ, it's whatever Scududo. Like, just like the Jason Bourne movie.
The Scududo supremacy.
Yeah. That rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah. We cut to the gunned down twins, and some mustachioed man is smiling at their corpses. This is a detective and his partner, and they determined that this was an out-of-town contract for Baldouchebag. Balducci is the actual name, but we're not going to hear that name for at least another half an hour.
Right.
Baldouchebag is the only name we have to go by. They assume that it's the Scududos that killed them, along with the son of Baldouchebag. They want to set up a meeting with the Baldouchebags and bring some cannolis, because he loves those.
Frank loves cannolis.
Yeah. So, back at Baldouchebag Manor, he's informed that Reno and Zizza, which is the name of the two detectives, have arrived. They give Frankie his cannolis. He refuses them and says that he doesn't want to eat any of that cake. They didn't know cannolis were cake. The camera angle changes 4 goddamn times as we watch Reno open the box of cannolis and stuff one in his face. He
delivers all of his dialogue with a mouthful of cannoli in the scene. It's disgusting.
He gives his condolences for Frankie's murdered son while laughing at him about it.
Yeah, he's got a weird sense of humor, this guy.
Yeah, I'm starting to think like this old man isn't such a bad guy. Just everybody's dicks to him.
Exactly.
He's a legitimate businessman.
Yeah. And everybody, my son gets killed and everybody comes to laugh at my face and offer me cannoli cake.
So Reno tells Frankie that the killings just got to stop. And then Zizza leans in between them for a bite of the cannoli that was very necessary for that scene. Just interrupts the scene so that he can get a bite of cannoli too.
By the way, this guy is the best actor ever.
Which
I'm just
one?
going to say that right now. The dude with the mustache.
Zizza or Reno?
The dude with the mustache.
Oh, Reno.
Yeah. Reno.
Best actor ever.
He's pretty damn good. Reno asks for their cut. Frankie's goon hands it over, so you know that they're dirty cops. Reno wants Frankie to tell him who killed his son, because he knows Frankie knows who they are. Frankie repeats himself a few times and tells Reno that the killers won't be taken into custody and that he will have his justice. Reno tells Frankie that the killing's got to stop because the feds are going to be up his ass and no one's going to be able to conduct their business. So we then cut to another suburban neighborhood.
This whole thing is filmed in a suburb. I mean,
this whole thing is filmed in one block.
Yeah.
There's the pizza store, there's this suburban house, and there's the mansion. And they're all within one block, and the whole movie never leaves this block. So in this next suburban neighborhood, the Scududos stand at the fence of a house.
Squirrel!
A squirrel does run by in the background. Yes, I saw the squirrel. The squirrel scampers away in the background. They said, "Oh, we got to use that shot." So they see themselves in a flashback, which wasn't clear to me that it was a flashback at first. I thought they were just staring at some other family.
They use flashbacks a lot, and other like flashes, forward, sideways. But like this is the only one that's not black and white, so it's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's basically it was Lost before Lost was. Yeah, we're gonna.
So they see themselves with their two daughters. Lisa's playing hot potato with them while Anthony sneaks up and surprises them with a new puppy. And the camera cuts back and forth from the present-day Scududos to the flashback Scududos several times to really emphasize that this is a sad memory. In the flashback, a car pulls up.
I'm a sad Scududo.
A sad dudo. In the flashback, a car pulls up, a man levels a revolver at the family. Lisa Scududo has a perfectly normal reaction to a person pointing their gun at their children, as in she stares blankly into space.
Right.
The man opens fire, and Lisa finally screams out, but it's too late. The little Scudoodles fall to the ground.
Also laughing.
Yeah, those kids are loving it. There's so much going on right here.
They're probably like, finally we're put out of our misery from living with these two chumps.
So this dude must be like the most accurate drive-by shooter in history. He's moving. He's got his little revolver.
It's a little snub-nosed 38.
It's two shots, 2 kills.
Actually, the kids ran towards the bullets. We're tired of being Scududos.
So, and we know that this is an even sadder moment because of the compounded effects that happen during this scene. Slow-mo, black and white, Gaussian blur, metallic foil, vertical hold.
And negative. It goes negative.
Jesus Christ. But thank God the dog survived.
Right.
The present-day Scududos walk away in tears. Cut to the police precinct, which could also be a middle school. Zizza tells Reno that the prints from the crime scene are in, and that it's definitely the Scududos that are the culprits. That was pretty fast. Did they need to go and interrogate Baldouchebag when they had it cooking back at the precinct anyway?
Who knows with these people?
Find out? Yeah.
Didn't they already know who they already suspected them, right? Before they got the lab.
They suspected them. They went to Frankie to get confirmation. He wouldn't give it, so they just did the prints.
Unfortunately, this movie does a terrible job of telling a story.
So it's revealed that Lisa and Anthony are both a pizza maker and a substitute teacher, respectively.
Son of a bitch.
But Reno doesn't buy that, and he thinks that they're definitely ex-government agents, as they had the skills to pay the bills to take out Frankie's men. Although it didn't take very much to take out Frankie's men.
No, they got easily distracted by a hack comedian.
So Zizza says that he's going to make a call to his friend at the DEA, see if he can get a lead on their whereabouts. We see some footage of a car driving around the suburbs, and I believe it pulls to the house that's across the street from the Scududos, because in the reverse shot, you can see the house that we just saw in the flashback scene.
I think they bought the house across the street from the house that they used to live at.
Yes.
Why didn't they stay in the same house? I don't know.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, at first I thought it was a mistake, but they do. There's a line where they say they live across the street from their old
Yeah,
house.
you could go with the thought that maybe it was too emotionally wrenching for them to live in that house. But then they moved right across the street with a view of the yard.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the case.
Yeah, no.
It makes no sense.
The real thing was that was one of the crew's house, and they asked their across the street neighbor if they could also use their house.
Yeah.
The end.
And for some reason refused to shoot around the other house. Yeah. Like, there's no way we can't include this other house.
Well, we'll just say they live across the street. People will buy that, right?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So a man gets out of the car and approaches the house. Lisa Scaduto asks him if he's looking for somebody. Lisa and Anthony are standing in the driveway for some reason. This guy is Agent Jones, and he's warning them that they've been marked for a hit by Carlo Balducci. I thought his name was Frankie, so I don't know what's going on again.
I don't know either.
Frankie's short for Carlo.
Yeah, of course. So Anthony tells Agent Jones that the only Balducci we know is a baker, to which Jones replies, "I'm sure he does." What?
The dialogue just flows in this movie.
I don't know who anybody they're talking about is.
Nope. So it's revealed that Lisa and Anthony are indeed government agents who were undercover, and when their cover was blown, the Balduccis went after their kids. Jones warns them to leave before it's too late. He asks them if they still have Balducci's St. Christopher medal, because there's a code on it to a safe deposit box that contains evidence to put the Balduccis away forever. And they say that they send it back so they can let them know who made the hit. And sending back the medal, I don't think lets them know who made the hit as much as they walked up and handed the dude it themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
They could have easily just came up and said, "By the way, we killed those people."
Yeah.
Also, why are they not being arrested right now?
Yeah, this... Well, okay.
I didn't even think about that. That's a great question.
It doesn't make
It's a great
any
question,
sense.
but...
There's a federal agent standing right there.
With things that are revealed later on, it complicates the matter.
Oh,
with,
okay.
You know, we'll get to it. It's just... Try to remember all of this, folks, because it's all going to end up in a big mess at the end. So, we cut to a red Corvette pulling up to another suburban house. Reno gets out, knocks on the door, and a leather-clad hooker opens up the door. She takes him into the kitchen where two other hookers are waiting, and he seems to be there to take care of a problem customer that's been getting a little too kinky for the girls. One of the girls calls for Danny, this customer, to come out. Buckle the fuck up, folks.
This is where the 3 minutes of this movie I enjoyed is right here.
Well, the whole thing in this house is bizarre from beginning to end.
To say the
least. It's not just with Danny. It's even after Danny leaves, it's fucking weird.
Right.
So enter a large, roughly 7 foot tall, long curly-haired man wearing shorts, Marty McFly's orange vest, an Indian headdress, and carrying a mop.
Yeah.
He looks dead into the camera and exclaims, "Hi, everyone! Quacky doo-dah day!" So Reno grabs him by the collar and clumsily bends him over the tiny breakfast nook table and begins to beat him senseless.
Yeah, that's... I don't know if that's really... that was the tamest ass whipping I've seen in a whorehouse in a long time.
Well, I mean, that whorehouse had a really strange atmosphere for a whorehouse. Really just felt like a regular ass suburban house.
That and the fact that it was clearly someone's grandmother's house.
Yeah.
It's all warm and fuzzy with little knickknacks everywhere. That was a grandma house.
He couldn't rough him up too much because he would have knocked down the Precious Moments collection.
So, as he's being beaten, Danny screams out incoherently, and by incoherently, I mean he's just making noises. You really have to see it, folks. I mean, if only you watch this scene, it's worth it. Reno takes him by the ear and drags him to the front door and throws him outside. And Danny's screaming, "What are you, crazy? What are you, nuts?" And he's both screaming and laughing in pain, terror, sexual excitement. I don't know.
And then the greatest line is uttered from him right then.
He's kicked out of the house, and as Danny leaves, he screams out several times while doing a little shuffle dance. But right as he's leaving frame, he lets out a "Bafangu!" and then a long moan of agony, as I'm sure in real life this is about the 12th take of this shot, and his head's got to be splitting.
Ay, ay, ay.
So that's just part one of the weirdest scene of this movie.
Right.
Reno goes back inside, and the madam, I guess, of this little whorehouse, tells Reno that Zizza, when he comes over, he stays here for way too long, and it's costing the girls money. And that she wants Reno to get her an apartment somewhere because she's worried about the state of the neighborhood due to the element that's moving in. This is a whorehouse.
Yes.
When there's a whorehouse in the neighborhood, it's done.
It's already gone to shit.
Yeah, it's over.
When you have large men dressed as Indians yelling "Banfagul" in the front yard, chances are you live in a shitty hood.
Yeah. So it's at this point that she kneels down in front of him and unzips his pants. And it's right here in the movie that I think I suffered a mild stroke. Because what I saw couldn't possibly be what actually happened in the movie. Because what I saw in my brain was instantly Reno jumped up and starts bouncing around while playing air guitar. And the hooker sits down in the corner, pulls out a cigar out of thin air, and starts to smoke it while rock music plays.
Then I guess we all had strokes, because that's what happened.
The only thing that gets him off is when the woman watches him wail on air guitar.
So is it because they couldn't actually show it? They had to do some weird analogy for it?
I mean, they could have just done a fade to black.
I jumped when this happened. It was so startling.
It was pretty startling because like the very first shot of like the cut goes from her like kneeling in front of him to his face like screaming like right in the camera.
As soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought was, I need to find somebody else to watch this with me.
And that's the scene.
Yeah, that was it.
It was totally baffling. Totally baffling.
None of that needed to be in the movie.
And it goes on for a while.
None of that is important to anything.
No.
Yeah.
Well, it's not important, and it's
like
also
the
confusing.
Whole song.
Yeah, the whole song.
Yeah.
And they keep reusing footage over and over again. It's so weird.
So we cut to the Scadudos sitting on the stoop of another random house in the suburbs. Anthony seems to have gotten a haircut in this shot, as he asks why their partner on the inside didn't warn them that the police had Lisa's prints. And Lisa reminisces about when she first joined the force and met Anthony, and it flashes back to them joshing around.
They've put her in some kind of giant suit jacket.
It was like a man's police jacket.
Yeah.
That she's like buried deep inside of.
Swimming in it.
So Anthony says that they have to get the medal back because exposition. Something about Anthony going to some guy named Lou who took him in when he was undercover, and then he turned on him when he found out about it, and went back to the Balducci's nephew, Frankie Coffey, who's been trying to impress the Balducci family, and he's the one that killed the little Skadoodles, and I'm fucking lost.
Right.
This stuff is amazing. This is when he starts cutting in like footage from later in the movie.
Yeah, future events in the movie.
Now that I'm thinking about it. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Oh well, so he has to show us who Lou is, because we never met Lou, and he has to show us who Frankie Coffey is. And the weird thing is, like, he like knew this would be confusing. He knew it would be a confusing mess without these like flashes, but didn't bother to like fix the structure of the movie. He just like cut in the scrap.
Almost as if to say, well, if the audience can't figure it out like this, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is good enough. But no, what I'm saying, now that I'm thinking about it, how we said this is all done in like a block of a neighborhood somewhere. This is a really shitty neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like
it's got a whorehouse. It's
got a whorehouse, a pizza place with a guy with a tracksuit. Apparently, you can't even go see a comedian. You're gonna get shot in the face. Like
your kids get shot out playing in the yard.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's overrun with crime, corrupt police everywhere.
They plot to kill both Frankie Coffey and Lou to draw out Balducci and retrieve the medal so that they can put the Balducci crew away forever. Lisa makes sure that they're going to kill Balducci when they get the medal from him, though. Why don't they just kill them all? If this is the end game anyway, it's not like there's going to be anyone left to put away. They want to put them away, but they're going to kill them at the same time.
You can't make sense of this thing anymore.
Yeah, who knows?
I hate to say it, like, but even though it seems like it happened before, this is where it starts to go off the rails.
Yeah, especially this next scene. Cut to a seemingly abandoned building that turns out to be a diner. Lou is inside having a meal. He gets up and paces around the place, silently moving his lips and talking to himself. He then goes outside and sees Anthony. He berates Anthony and threatens to collect a bounty on him himself. Anthony asks Lou if he knows where he can score a hit, and Lou claims to be in the garment business. I manufacture dresses. All the while, it's cutting to cutaways of black and white shots of briefcases full of cocaine, and I don't know why.
It never comes up again.
No, that briefcase of cocaine is never actually in the movie. No. It's only in flashback.
Right.
Yeah. So he has to at least like let the audience know that they're using euphemisms. It's bizarre.
Yeah. Anthony offers Lou $150,000 to get him a sit down with Balducci, and the editing of this scene, they cut between the two mid-sentence several times. Anytime they mention a name, we get a half a second black and white clip of that person, so we remember who it is. Like, it's even worse than the previous one.
They should have done this in Game of Thrones, man. There have been a lot fewer confused people.
Yeah. So they argue back and forth for what seems like an hour. I thought he was just supposed to kill this guy, but I don't know. What's the deal? They finally agree to a price and the arrangement. Anthony hugs Lou and says that he loves him like a father and leaves. Lou gets in his car, turns the ignition, and boom. Not boom as in the explosion that happens, but boom as in my sudden realization that nothing that happens in this movie actually needs to happen. That whole scene was absolutely pointless.
It was.
It wasn't even pointless. It was like beyond pointless. It was.
He gained no new information. We didn't gain any new information. He wound up just killing him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, why do this? Why do this? Why?
This is where I started getting really angry at this movie.
That's a legitimate reaction to this scene. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you the logic of the thing. Why would you put yourself at the scene of this like car explosion? Why would you have this like conversation with the guy? I mean, it's not like he was threatening him.
No.
I have no idea why he was there.
No, I mean, he could have...
He could have just come out, gotten in his car, turned it on, blew up, the end.
Yeah, nobody... Yeah. Ugh.
He just needed 5 more minutes in his movie, I guess.
Nothing but terrible hitmen in this movie.
So,
and they showed the car exploding twice, too. Car blows up twice because you gotta get your money's worth.
Exactly. So we cut to the pizzeria for yet another meaningless scene. Upstairs, Frankie Coffee is playing out the scene that we've been seeing him in flashbacks for the last half an hour, because fuck this movie. We're forced to watch him eat a cookie and sip his cappuccino in silence for about 40 minutes. Lisa walks in and sits opposite Coffee. He leers at her while she smokes a cigarette in silence for another 75 minutes.
And every time the camera hits her, she takes another drag of that cigarette.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same.
Finally,
it's the same drag over and over again.
Finally, someone speaks as Coffee asks her if he can help her with something. Another 80 minutes of silence pass by before she finally speaks and says, "No." Fuck you. And it just repeated shots of this asshole sucking on this cookie, and we don't need this. The long silent pauses just grow more ridiculous, and I'm so angry at this movie at this point. This is not tension building. This is just god-awful acting and decision-making.
Right.
She finally reveals that she's posing as a hooker who's been hired by Coffee's friend Joey. Joey then rambles off a list of all the Joey he knows. Is it Fish Market Joey? Is it Little Joey? Fat Joey? Pizza Joey? Slanty Eye Joey? Does he smell like fish with a pizza and fucked up eye? Are you describing an amalgam of all the Joeys you know now?
You forgot one Joey.
Did I?
I didn't know if that was a question or not, but you did forget one Joey.
Joey
Joey Limo.
Oh, yeah, Joey Limo.
Oh.
There's also Joey.
I forgot about Joey.
His friend comes to the conclusion that it's Joey. Oh, of fucking course it's Joey.
I really like this part. Like, for some reason, Frankie Coffee is really funny to me. I like the idea that there's all these Joeys, and I don't know. Thought it was funny.
So, Coffee instructs his friend to watch the door in case his wife and kids show up. And he proceeds to take off his pants, and then he just kind of attacks Lisa while she sits on an uncomfortable-looking wooden chair.
Yeah, they can't find somewhere to go. It's just gonna do it right there.
Yeah, because all the while, nameless goon number 2 looks on from the background, like 3 feet away. Coffee suddenly jumps up, thinking that he felt a dick in Lisa's skirt. About 4 hours pass as Coffee rambles on and on about paying back Joey for this, and someone's gonna get shot, and what's wrong with yous, and whatnot.
He's so mad that she might have a dick.
So Lisa reveals that she had a knife in her skirt, and that's what Joey felt. And the gang has a nice laugh about it.
What a relief. What a relief. It's not a dick. It's just a dangerous weapon.
It's just
You know how many times I get confused with a knife and a penis? I mean, they're so similar.
Exactly.
What did I cut myself on? It's just my dick.
So the gang has a nice laugh about it, including Mike O'Malley, who randomly shows up on the scene. Lisa then springs into action, choosing this moment to strike, where there are 4 men opposite her when she only has a knife that they can all plainly see. Not when she had Coffee to herself and only one other guy in the room. No. That made too much sense. So she manages to slit Coffee's throat, slit the throat of the man next to him, and then throws the knife into goon number 2's neck as the knife makes a laser noise as it flies through the air. Don't touch that knife, it's white hot.
God damn it, you beat me to it. Did you see what the subtitle said when she slit his throat?
No.
It said fleshy, squishy gurgling.
Well, that's an apt description. So she then magically has a gun, and she questions Mike O'Malley, and it turns out he's the one that shot the little skadoodles. She puts all 6 rounds into the small of his back, and then slowly walks toward what can't possibly be the exit of this second floor pizzeria.
Now, how do you know?
So, because the exit is what all the guys came through.
Mr. Architect over here.
She just walks towards the wall.
Now you're just splitting hairs now, Chase.
Okay,
that's a common problem in this movie.
Yeah. How about the fact that she just gunned down a guy and she's going to casually stroll out of this pizzeria that's open for business in the middle of the goddamn day? And is this the pizzeria that she used to work at? What's happening here?
I don't know.
It's the only pizzeria in town.
Well, we know they're immune. They're immune from all consequences. Like, the police are just letting them get away with whatever they want, apparently.
It's a very sketchy Italian neighborhood. Which is called what, John?
In the spaghetto.
Okay. So, cut to Reno and Zizza as they pull out to the Belmont stables and they harass a toll booth operator in yet another pivotal scene.
What was going on here? He pulls through the gate and gets out and acts like the gate operator is responsible for some kind of scratch on his car.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? I don't know what's happening.
This needed to happen though.
I love the gate operator's like his shrug is so weird. It's like what does he do? He like puts both arms like out in front of him, just like hanging in the air in front of him, and then puts them down. I was like, what is that?
So later, Reno is pleading with the horse to win. Zizza suggested they just shoot the horse because it's a jerk off.
He calls the horse a jerk off so many times.
Poor horse.
I know.
That horse like just got the job, and they bring him out there and do some kind of a jerk off. He's like, hey, what the fuck?
Hey, hold on now.
I'm just here to do a job, man. Take it easy.
Reno warns Zizza about spending too much time at the whorehouse, and Zizza reveals that he's been sleeping with Reno's main girl. And he reveals that she's also been asking him for an apartment somewhere else. And none of this matters. None of this matters. Nothing with the whorehouse matters.
No.
It never plays out.
Nope. Nothing with the horse matters.
Zizza tells Reno that the horse matters greatly. The horse is in the last scene of the movie.
Is it?
Zizza tells Reno that Jones let him know that it was definitely the Scududos that sent the medal back to Balducci to make sure that he knew who made the hit. They're still confirming that it was the fucking Scududos.
Yeah, they know that it's them.
And during this whole scene, all this dialogue, they had to Foley in the horse chewing noises. Because it would have just been odd without it.
Well, because that jerk-off horse wouldn't chew.
So they plan to let the Scududos take the medal, and then they'll take it from them. And at this point, the horse interrupts the scene by making the actor that's playing Zizza laugh, but they kept that take in.
What a jerk-off.
Jerk-off horse.
Stupid jerk-off horse.
So they talk about their plans for when they get the money and then they leave. Cut back to the precinct. Reno, Zizza, and Jones are all laying out the plot points that we already know and have known for the last 100 hours now. I'm not even going to go over it. They basically recap the entire movie in this scene.
Right.
Zizza, I swear to God, dyed his hair black for this scene. He's got jet black Steven Seagal hair in this scene. More inane conversation as Reno says fucking genius about 37 times. There's even a point where Reno confuses himself about the ridiculous plan to get the Balducci money back.
That's true.
So we cut to the meeting that looks like it's at the quad of some community college. The Balducci's walk up, and the Scududos get the drop on them from up on a balcony.
I love when they walk up. They, there's like silence, and there's like a tense moment where they're all like, keeping an eye out for some kind of assault. There's a guy behind Frankie or whatever is just looking in every possible direction. He's like looking straight up in the air. Like straight down at the ground, like they could come out of anywhere.
That's the number one guy. He's ready for anything.
I gotta keep my head on a swivel. People going around killing jerk off horses around here.
They get the drop on him. They gun down one of the goons as he pulls his gun, and they get the rest to comply to leave Balducci alone. And then the Scududos open fire as the fat man waddles away, dodging bullet after bullet. Well, that plan didn't work at all. So Anthony gives chase, eventually catches up to Balducci and guns him down against a brick wall. And the Scududos and Reno approach Balducci as he lay dying. Reno's there now, suddenly, confusingly.
So it's the first twist.
The first of many. Reno takes the medal off Balducci's neck. They cut to the Scududos' house, where the Scududos, Reno, Jones, and Zizza are all just out in the street having their meeting. Reno and the Scududos draw their guns on the other two, and Reno reveals that he was an undercover DE agent the whole time. And they arrest Zizza and Jones for accessory to murder of the little Scudoodles. So the Scududos were active agents the whole time, while they were out brazenly murdering folks.
Yeah.
That's how this worked.
They got one of those free government murder passes.
Yep. And Reno has been deep undercover and spending most of his time running this little whorehouse.
I gotta say, it's at this point where I'm just like, why am I watching this movie? I've seen enough. Why is there still 30 minutes left in this movie?
Exactly. That's it. That's the climax. The movie is over now. Why is this still going? So we cut to a diner. The Scududos sit with Reno as they order a round of coffee. The waitress is dumbfounded by this.
Oh, she was having none of that shit.
No one has ever come into a diner in the history of food service and ordered only coffee. She goes on to berate them about how she's not going to make any money and that she made all this eggplant parm because she knew that they were going to be coming in today. And this ain't no way to run a fucking business. No, it isn't, lady. Your tip is dwindling with every syllable that comes spewing out of your mouth.
You don't want to give people the hard sell on the eggplant parm.
So they stick to their guns, and the waitress stomps off. Reno expresses how tired of the undercover game he is. But he delivers this line: "You just saw the tip of the iceberg. This case has kicked my ass."
That is exactly how that line was delivered. What I also liked about this little diner or whatever...
One take Reno, everybody.
What I really liked about this diner was, like, they really wanted to... Like, they needed drapes in there, I guess, for light pollution or something for the shot. They're like, fuck it, we ain't putting up drapes. We're just going to tape up brown paper bags in the window.
It's a high-quality diner.
And then whenever they show them outside the diner, the brown paper bags have been taken down.
Or it was just a completely different building entirely.
I didn't think about that.
Which, yeah, that's my guess.
I just like that whoever was in charge of set design, fuck it, throw some brown paper bags up in that window. Nobody's going to notice. The movie ended 5 minutes ago. Nobody's watching it.
So he continues on about retirement, and Anthony just stares into his mouth. And I can only imagine in his side of his head, he's going, is any of this in the script? Shit, what's my next line? So Reno reveals that he says that the badge gave him a license to steal. And we cut to a random shot of that briefcase full of cocaine again. He tells them that the deposit boxes could contain up to $25 million. And the Scadudos are confused as they thought the boxes contained names and numbers that can bring down the Balducci family. Just then, a shady figure enters the diner. Let's call him Shades McBackwards Cap.
See, like, followed. So this is the thing about this door. Like, these shady characters start entering through this door. It looks like a bathroom door, not the front, not the front door of the diner. It's like this
clown covered with brown paper bags.
Yeah. It's like this like clown car bathroom with all these hitmen coming out of it.
Yeah. Shades McBackwards Cap comes out. He's followed by Phil Donahue. He's followed by some dork in a Yankees cap. And then finally, Budget Kevin Costner comes out in his Wrangler jacket. Reno stands up to leave, but when he leans in to give Lisa a hug, she bashes him over the head with a bottle. And he screams out at her as if he was falling off a cliff. You bitch! All hell breaks loose as Anthony and the thugs engage in a shootout. He takes out Yankees dork and then some other guy that I'm pretty sure we didn't see come in. Just some other person. Anthony then blows away the first thug, and when he recoils from the shot, his sunglasses fly off to reveal another pair of glasses underneath.
Those were seen.
He had those clip-on sunglasses that clip on over his regular glasses.
It was the 80s. You know how expensive prescription sunglasses were back then?
It wasn't the 80s. This is from 2000.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's from the year 2000.
I thought this movie was in the 80s the whole time.
It just looks like it.
My God.
Maybe it is just an amazing period piece.
Well, there's no excuse. Yeah. That dude should have had some what they call the transitions or whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God.
My mind is blown now.
Yeah. So
that's still Lisa 17 years old.
You can get away with this shit in the year 2000?
Apparently. It'll be put up on Amazon for a couple of days.
It's true.
So Lisa takes out Budgie Kevin Costner, and the Scadudos leap over the counter. The waitress comes out screaming about the commotion, and just when that happens, Phil Donahue levels a shotgun and fires, and it cuts to taking out a houseplant. And for a moment, I was thinking / hoping it was going to be the waitress's head.
Yeah.
Like, it was going to be that shot in the beginning of Dawn of the Dead, where that dude kicks down the door and just blows up that guy's head. Like, something ridiculous like that.
That would have been awesome.
But alas.
I have this guy down as Ted Kennedy. But Phil Donahue is good too. I have it, my note says Ted Kennedy is really fucking up this lady's restaurant.
Yeah, I'd say Donahue. Mine says Donahue really dislikes the decor in this diner. Because he unloads shell after shell into various knickknacks around the diner. Anthony and Lisa pop up and take him out. So we were to believe that Reno was with these guys, or was this a random occurrence by the Balduccis?
Dude, I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question.
It can't be, because Reno wasn't with the Balduccis. He was doing his own thing. He was a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was getting paid by the Balduccis.
No, because he's trying to get that money.
Yeah, but in the beginning, he was part of their crew. He was getting paid by him.
Well, yeah, he was
deep
taking
undercover.
Yeah, he was taking taking his cut or whatever, his protection or whatever. I don't know, whatever cops get from the mob.
Cannolis?
Yeah, he was getting his cannolis.
Cannoli cake.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, after the gunfight, the Scadudos skedaddle out into the street. And they They jump into a car and peel away, disrupting what I have to believe is actual traffic.
Probably. No permits were gotten.
No.
We're then treated to a one-car chase, where we watch Anthony violently swing the car left and right as Lisa continuously looks behind them at something we never get to see until the scene just sort of ends.
Does it fade to black?
Yeah.
This is like the most exciting way to end a car chase. Fade to black.
Yeah, that car chase is kind of petered out anyway. So, cut to some random docs. Anthony's on his cell phone with Reno. Anthony's pissed, and he asks Reno why he betrayed them. So, the goons were with Reno?
I don't know.
I think Reno was planning on betraying them to get the money for himself.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even be trying to figure this out.
Exactly.
It's useless.
Yeah. And Anthony exclaims, "You tried to kill me and my wife!" and then Reno goes, "Yeah." Excellent writing.
He's not messing around.
Yeah. Anthony hands the phone over to Lisa, and Reno offers her to leave with him and the money if she kills Anthony. Lisa reveals that she lifted the metal off of Reno, and that when she hit him with the bottle. And Reno then starts to reason with her, telling Lisa that, we can still work this out, and this can go one of three ways. No 3 ways. Stop overcomplicating this fucking plot. One of 3 ways. Asshole.
Can one of those ways be ending this god-awful movie?
So, Lisa wants to get an APB out on Reno. And I like to mention that this whole scene that just played out, we keep cutting back to Anthony as he just stares jaw agape into the distance.
Mouth breather.
He really doesn't have a lot to do.
Yeah. Anthony suggests that they take the money. He can call his contact, comedian Jerry, who at this point I was assuming was Jerry Seinfeld, but turns out to be, the comedian from the beginning of the movie that we all forgot about. I know I forgot about him. And he can set them up with a place to start over, far, far away. Anthony calls Jerry, who answers the phone from the stables that they were at earlier, because they shot this movie however the fuck, and it's the stables because you can hear the fucking horses in the background.
Those jerk-offs.
He's going on and on about the clubs that he's playing at when Anthony says into his phone, "Hey, Mr. Chicken and Broccoli." And then Jerry starts talking to Anthony. So who the fuck was he just talking to on the phone? Dude. The phone was already out and he was talking away.
Stop trying to make sense of this, Jace.
So no line, none of Anthony's lines and none of Jerry's lines line up at all. It's like there's 2 different conversations that they splice together to make a fake conversation. Jerry tells them to go to Taylor and Mills at 3 o'clock and wishes them luck in their new life. Anthony tells Lisa that he loves her, and he knows it's been a long time since he's said that. She says that she loves him too, and he snaps right the fuck out of it, and he's off to the bank.
The horse isn't the only jerk-off in this movie.
So we cut to the Federal Savings Bank. Some dumbass song is playing as Lisa walks out of the bank with a huge duffel bag of money in slow motion. Cut to Citibank, because that's where the mob stores their money, at fucking Citibank.
You're not going to name all the banks, are you?
Cue the same exact shot of Lisa walking out with a duffel bag of money. Cut to KeyBank, exact same shot again. Cut to the Bank of New York, same exact shot again. Lisa and Anthony twirl around in the field with the duffel bag of money.
And there were supposed to be 5 banks, but they only went to 4 banks.
Yeah, well, it's the same shot over and over again. It really doesn't matter. I bet they used this scene for the actual music video of this shitty song, because it's cut like a goddamn terrible music video. We have to watch them kiss, and Lisa jumps up onto Anthony in repeated shots, jumbled together to pad for time. They throw in a couple more shots of her walking out of the bank again for good measure. Let's show the black and white briefcase a blow again. Why the hell not? Let's hang on a shot of Frankie Coffee sucking on a cookie for 1,000 hours. Who gives a fuck? I hate my life and I'm perfectly comfortable with having this movie kill me by stupidity. So they proceed to hump right there in the field in broad daylight.
And John couldn't be happier.
So later, we cut to later. Anthony's going on and on like a mental patient about making sure that the money is kept warm and covered.
Yeah, well, I'm not even commenting. Fuck it.
Yeah, he's so excited he does this little tiny double-fisted yes pantomime thing. He's giddy with all this money.
Yeah, I don't know what he just out of nowhere he's like acting super weird.
Yeah. A van pulls up. Speaking of super weird, some dude gets out.
Speaking of jerk-offs.
Says that he's comedian Jerry's friend that got sent to pick them up. And where was that? He creepily tells Lisa that she's pretty and then violently starts sniffing at her and tells Anthony that he's going to think about her later when he jerks off. Anthony responds appropriately by repeatedly slamming the guy's head into the hood of the car. So I guess there goes their getaway plan, because the guy retreats back into the van where he begins making ridiculous sexual gestures towards Lisa for like 10 fucking minutes.
Forever.
Lisa approaches, draws her gun, reaches into the van, and appears to shoot the guy in the dick. That's
what I thought happened.
He cries out, not so much like a guy that, just got shot in the dick, but more like his favorite sports team just lost the big game. Oh. So she then tells Anthony that she shot him in the foot. And I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke. Why not actually shoot him in the dick? I don't get this movie. So they get in the car, drive away. The guy continues screaming. They go to some random house. It doesn't matter at this point. Inside, there's some weird dude living in his own filth, watching porno with his rifle. Usual libertarian.
Whoa.
Wrecked.
We gotta get some zingers going the other way sometimes.
God damn it. It's funny because it's true.
He spins around and invites them to sit. He's another friend of comedian Jerry, though I don't know why we're still trusting comedian Jerry's contacts.
No.
Anthony says that this guy's cousin Bryant does a play with a full deck, and we get black and white flashes back to the dude making the gestures in the van because we couldn't possibly remember him from the last scene.
Did they name him in the last scene though? It's the first time we get his name, and
anytime a name is spoken, we got a flash to him.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a way to meet somebody too. Like, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Let me violently sniff you. Oh, you don't like that? Let me show you what else I can do.
So this new guy explains that Bryant was let go by the CIA for being too crazy. That was a CIA agent.
Well,
he also is ex-CIA, and he left because the CIA is full of those kinds of crazy people.
So, the kinds of people that don't stare at porn while cleaning their weapons.
So he's going to hook them up with passports, licenses, whatever they need. The guy tells them that he's in the porn business, having made such titles as Romancing the Bone, Blonde at Both Ends, and his award-winning war documentary / porno, A Pack of Lips Now.
Why are you taking away all these great quiz questions?
Because
that is a good question.
I thought A Pack of Lips Now was legitimately funny.
That's probably I feel like all of those are real ones.
So he then says that he wants to make a film with the Skadudos, and he harps on them about getting them on tape for way too long in this scene.
Yeah.
He says that he didn't know Jerry when they were both in the CIA, but they were together in their hunting club. Their city-based hunting club. Subways, bus stops, Central Park, Are they hunting people?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if
CIA?
those people or just like pigeons and stuff. I don't know.
Not clear.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why I hate pigeons. Pigeons have the ability to fly, yet they walk almost everywhere they go.
Stupid assholes.
Exactly.
Jerk-offs.
That's all. I just wanted to. Every time I can talk about pigeons, I got to tell people that.
That's a good observational comedy.
So Lisa thankfully ends the scene, and we cut to the next day at the airport as they prepare to board a little Cessna plane. Just then, Reno shows up. Anthony thinks the porn guy sold them out, but it turns out it was Bryant with the gimpy foot. And he's there for comedic reasons.
Yeah.
Reno thanks them for saving him the trouble of retrieving the money. Reno threatens them with torture as he's pontificating to porn guy. As he's doing that, porn guy whips a shotgun out of his bag and blows away both Reno and Bryant. We don't actually see it. We just cut to them quivering on the ground.
I love this because it keeps happening.
So Anthony wishes porn guy a Merry Christmas, and they leave for the plane. Porn guy, in a surprising and pointless twist, shoots both Anthony and Lisa.
It's like, hey guys!
Hey guys! Boom, boom. He then steals the money and begins to head out. Just then, in yet another pointless twist, some guy in a suit, holding a shotgun, down by his ankles, shoots porn guy dead. So, Sooty McSuitface wheels up old man Baldouchebag, and he questions how the Skadoodles could have hoped to defeat him with all his power. He retrieves the duffel bag of money, wheels away. They board the plane and take off into the sunset, leaving a pile of corpses in their wake.
I want to see the full scene of them trying to get that old dude out of his wheelchair and into that tiny plane.
That'd be another 30 minutes of movie.
They're like pushing and he's like, stop,
So we get a flyover shot.
Greasing him up with cannoli cake so he fits through the door.
They're just waving a cannoli on the inside of the plane. Come on, come get it. So we get a flyover shot of some horses running in a field, and it's revealed that comedian Jerry was in cahoots with Balducci the whole time.
You motherfucker, comedian Jerry!
He helped the Skadoodles kill his sons.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Not
I must
only
have
is
blanked
he
out for this because I didn't notice all that.
not only is he a terrible person, he's a terrible comedian.
Boy, is he.
Cut to credits, and that same asshole song again.
Oh my god.
The end.
Now I know this is something that like only
I got angry all over again.
Yeah, that was pretty infuriating. Did you notice how bad the kerning on the credits was, Chase?
The what?
I was like, ugh. Fix your spacing.
They did what they had to do. Kerning, Blake, is the space between letters.
Oh. Can't just say that, can you?
That's way more words.
Fancy.
Went to Buras High School, for Christ's sake.
It's like 3 more words. It's way too many words.
Well, believe me, I'd be willing to bet a lot of our audience doesn't know what the hell kerning is.
Well, they learned something today.
We all did. Pigeons are assholes.
Yup. Horses are jerk-offs. Fix your fucking kerning.
Shall we get down to the business now?
Yeah, I'm ready for this quiz.
Time for the quiz. John will be asking 5 questions based on deadly sin that Blake and myself will be answering. The host that gets the most questions correct gets the honor of being quizmaster of the next episode, and their movie that was picked will be what's watched. In case of a tiebreaker question will be asked. First host to shout out the answer wins. However, if you shout out incorrectly, you lose. And the movies at stake this week, I have to win. Folks.
Yes, you do.
If you didn't listen to Coming Attractions, I have to win. Because we don't actually know what we're watching if Blake wins. Because the movie keeps changing. But on another little side note, now that we've done some calculations, there is a lot of riding on this quiz. Because if I do win tonight, I clinch the season. Shit. So John and Blake will be playing for second place. If I lose, however, it's still anybody's game. Blake's going to have a very big advantage, though.
Well, I'm just going to say, if you win tonight, just be ready because my recording will end right there. I'm disconnecting. Just heads up, it's over.
Yeah, we still have 2 more contests to do.
I understand. Just letting you know.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get to the quiz.
All right. Well, I'm thinking this might be a pretty easy quiz for you guys because you've already whittled down a lot of the questions I had. So there's a few. I don't know. Maybe I just noticed them and you didn't. I don't know. What the fuck? Anyway, here we go. Question number 1. Where did the hooker want Reno to set her up with a new apartment?
Got it.
I got that one too.
At the Belmont Park stable area, horses have a particular special privilege.
I know this one too.
I have no clue.
Because I noticed that and said, watch that be a fucking question. I'm glad I remembered that. Because it was so stupid.
Yeah. Okay, where did the pornographer graduate from?
Oh, shit.
Got that one.
According to Balducci, what is the only weapon?
What?
What?
It's like the last line of the movie.
There were lines at that point?
I'm just gonna have to guess.
It was at the very end when he's talking to the fallen Skadoodles.
I'm just guessing.
I remember that. My head was too busy reeling from all the twists.
All right. I feel like this last question's gonna anchor you guys. What color were the masturbating guy's eyes?
Oh, come on.
There was that one shot that's like crazy in his face.
Oh, come on,
bitch.
Oh, I'm worried now.
I know, because
some of these are just, that one's definitely just guessable. There's only so many eye colors.
Yeah.
I knew that one was going to be controversial.
Well, it is.
All right, that's it. So where did the hooker want a new apartment?
In Great Neck.
That's it. What are horses' special privilege at Belmont Park?
No clue.
They have the right of way.
At all times. But I'll accept that. Where did the pornographer graduate from?
NYU.
I guessed Harvard, because I can't remember.
And my U is correct.
Tied up.
What is the only weapon, according to Balducci?
I said power.
I also said power.
It was greed.
Comes down to the stupid eye color.
God damn it.
Fuck.
Oh, man. All right. What's the eye color?
I said brown.
I'm going to go off the wall, and I said that they were white.
What the fuck?
That he had, like, white eyes. Like,
They were
white
green.
contact. Weird.
They were green.
Son of a...
Well, shit.
Oh, wait, why
It's
am I
gonna come
complaining?
down.
We watching my movie.
No, we're tied.
No, we're not.
Yeah. Great Neck, you didn't get the right of way. I didn't get Harvard, the thing.
NYU.
Neither of us got the greed, and neither of us got the eye color.
Son of a bitch. Happy for no reason.
All right.
We gotta do the tiebreaker. Okay.
All right.
Remember, he's gotta read the
Tiebreaker.
whole thing.
Let me see how to ask it. All right. What is on Anthony's sweatshirt?
University of Virginia.
Gap.
Got it. He got it. Holy shit.
We both said something. You said he got it. What does that mean?
Oh, I only heard Blake say University of Virginia.
Okay, now wait a second. Because he's also wearing a sweatshirt that says the Gap on it.
Oh, you said Gap. I heard Gap. Oh, at the beginning of the movie, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, Lord.
You didn't do this correctly. Come on, John.
Oh, there's one more obscure fact that I know about this movie that I hope you ask.
Man, you know what? I gotta find another question now because you ate up all my questions.
Oh, my God.
This is torture now.
I know. Oh, man. Oh.
I have nothing else.
Oh, no. This is worse than last time.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, God. Okay.
Is this still considered? Yeah, it's still a tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay. What did one of the hookers say she wasn't?
Squaw.
His squaw.
I think Chase got it out first.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Ooh.
Well, we'd like to say goodbye to Blake for the night.
Good night, Blake. Sorry.
Oh.
Wow. Dude, the whole show, just the questions are just gone. By the time
they all?
The number of banks, I was not expecting you to go through all the banks. I don't know. I actually was deleting them as you crossed them off, but there's a whole bunch of other ones. Man, so that's why we ended up with the shitty questions, by the way. That's why things got so janky.
I take fairly detailed notes.
Yes, you do.
I was hoping, like, the one or two other things that I can remember that I was hoping. I was like, please say what's the name of the puppy.
Oh shit, Rascal. That's right.
Rascal.
I knew that was gonna be like super obvious.
Yeah. And like little things like the name of the main hooker was Kimberly. What else? There was something about, I can't remember it now. It was either the name of the pizzeria, which I can't even remember what it was now anymore. Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, man. Blake really did leave, didn't he?
Well, he's still on the call.
Oh, okay.
So either he's just sitting in silence, defeated.
Oh.
Or he just took off his headphones. Either way, we have a victor for the season already.
Oh, man. Whew.
And we're going to be watching The Three Fantastic Supermen. which I have to say, you absolutely have to win.
Yeah.
To stay in contention for second.
Yeah.
So
that's fine. Well, wait a minute. So, okay. But what if Blake...
This
if I
will
beat
be
Blake and then Blake...
Because there's only 2 more episodes. So you can only rack up 1 more win.
Right.
If you win next week, then I have to win the last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, Blake has 2 more win possibilities, right? Or no, just 1, I guess.
Yeah, just one. He's got 2 more. He's got next week, in which case, if he wins next week, then I think that's it. He clinches second.
Yeah.
But if you win next week, then I also have to win the last week, and then you get second.
I see. Okay.
So it's going to be, if you win next week, it kind of goes out of your hands, which is a scary notion.
Yeah, but my path to victory is difficult.
And it's all because of those upsets.
Yeah,
both you and Blake had an upset loss, and I weaseled my way out of mine tonight. Holy shit! So
that was intense.
I guess we should I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah,
just me and you.
I guess. Blake bounced out.
So
he's off. He's off polishing his gun, watching pornography right now.
So there you have it, folks. I'm victorious this week, and we'll be watching The Three Fantastic Supermen. I'd like to thank everybody that's been listening. If you could take a little bit of time out of your day and leave us a review on iTunes, we would very much appreciate it. While you're there, you can subscribe to get all our latest episodes the moment they go live. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/garbagetheater. You can follow us on Twitter at garbage_theater and on Instagram at garbage_theater. Also, if there's a movie that you'd like to suggest to us, we're open to suggestion. Let us know. You can contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or you can email us at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. We will see you next week for another episode of Coming Attractions, where John and Blake, maybe Blake, maybe not Blake, who knows?
Hopefully Blake.
Hopefully Blake will present 2 new movie possibilities for us to watch, and we will see you then.